Hey everyone and welcome. This is a AE kiting guide again for the Bard class. Kiting here in Droga. This is during the Velios expansion on the P99 green server. So getting right into this, some reasons to come into Droga. We're trying to get our Chardok faction up, and this is also a good source of farming for some platinum if you wish to do that as well. So kind of some things I'm getting right into. So first, my song lineup. What am I doing? Why I'm doing it? First, the katana replenishment, court for your healing. Same with nibs down below. I just have those for after we finish a kite, then we want to heal up. Cello's assonant strain. This is your AE snare. This is your most important one for this zone. This is a stringed instrument base, so I'm going to use my lute as well as some other dots here that also require string to maximize that damage. But this is the bread and butter for this type of kiting indoors in the indoor zone. Next up, Denon's Disruptive Discord is going to be one of your AE dots. Chords of Dissonance, and if you are 59 or 60, which I am level 60, I got Denon's Beveerment, and that'll be your strongest dot there. So you want to prioritize that one. I do have D8 just in case for those oh no moments. And invisibility, you can invis through this zone, no problem. I haven't encountered anything that actually sees invis yet. Maybe a named or something, I'm not even sure. But throughout the entire zone, you can go invis and be just fine. And then, of course, nibs at the end. So that is it. So one of the songs here, let me show you. Chords of Cessation. This is your 48 level dot. The problem is it does not stack with your snare song. So it does not stack with your ash strain. Just kidding, your assonant strain. And that is the reason we don't use that. So just put this down. And so just getting into this and practicing. So if you're not used to AE kiting, this is kind of also a new way to approach it. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice first. I'm going to show you an area right up here on top. This is the entrance here from Frontier Mountains into Droga. I guess it would be considered the normal entrance. There are other ways to get in here, but this is the main way. Or you can also practice in Nurga, Nurga being the sister zone to Droga. I believe it is a little bit lower level, so you can at least practice there and kind of get it down and then move into this zone. There's a lot of casters and mobs that backstab, so I'm going to kind of walk through all that, what to prioritize gear-wise, and so on and so forth. So we're going to run up through to get up here because we can't just jump up or levitate up. We have to run around and do it that way. So real quick on the map, here we are. I'm going to start here at the top, and we're going to run all the way down, come down through here, over here. We're going to see the Goblin Trader, who is right here. He is who we will use to consider to see what our faction is, and you can check that throughout your kiting. Then we'll go through the main way out, back up through the exit, over and up to this area here, and I'll show you a small kite, and then that just allows you to be able to escape if you find yourself in a bind. And as we get into this, I'll just say this up front. If you look at this map and you see all these caves and stuff, think of those as like little bubbles. So as you run through, we're going to gather mobs, and then I will just kite, in these small areas. Because if you get too many mobs, you will get dotted. You could get rooted and beat down. Still, even though these mobs are lower level, they still pack a punch, and a lot of them harm touch as well. So if you can't resist them, they will chew through your hit points rather quickly. And so as you come into these other rooms, you can kite the inner room first, and then you can kind of pull as you will all these other little caves and stuff. These are all full of goblins, and you'll come out and you can get these different areas and start moving in a little bit slower and slower, until you keep moving. Of course, this is all made easier with just even a healer. That makes it twice, if it makes it way faster to get through this kind of stuff. But if you're just solo, just looking to kill some stuff here, then that is exactly what we're gonna do. All right, so let's get to it. We'll get invis up, and we'll start the run, and you can just kind of follow along to see where I go to get that. So of course I do have some advantages. I do have some raid gear. I do have my epic weapon, so that covers a lot. There's a huge resistance modifiers on that, and acts as all instruments. So that takes care of brass as well as stringed, if you depending on what you are prioritizing. I guess at lower levels, if you're at 54, you might prioritize the brass horn because that'll be your next highest dot song. But either way, I would still use the lute, as it will. It also affects that AE snare, so I just probably use the lute regardless. So coming through here, I am kind of strafing through to kind of make it go faster. So priorities, stat-wise, magic resist, magic resist, magic resist. Can't say that enough. That is going to be the biggest stat that you want, followed by hit points. Magic resist is used in all AE kiting because hit points ultimately in huge packs doesn't really matter per se. You know, you're going to get beat down, but magic resist. I'll get back to that in a second. Here is the Goblin Trader. So here we are in front. You can reference that map I just showed, the front here, and all you're going to do is click off your invis, find a spot where you're kind of out of aggro range. You can click him and run, you know, down a little bit, whatever. See, that guy's moving. And click it off, give it consider. You can see the Goblin Trader right now. He's amiably. That is good. So even in Chardok, I can run around there freely and not get crushed by the mobs there. So do not kill the Goblin Trader. He is a negative 30 to faction, so that's huge. You have to kill another 30 of these goblins just to come back from killing him once, and that's a lot. Each one of these goblins is about a point of faction for your Chardok faction, so it takes a while, right? You can fight these one-on-one, which isn't really ideal because most of these, with all these casters and stuff, they put on fire resist, or sorry, not fire resist, but a fire damage shield. They all have damage shields, so you're always killing yourself ultimately, or you're just wasting time dispelling when you could be dotting and stuff like that. And once you get a hang of this and you figure out how many mobs you can handle, this is going to be a lot easier to do. So right now, again, I kind of getting back to the stats. I do have 143 magic resist. That is pretty high. Again, due to not only the level, but I mean mainly the gear you have, and I would say, you know, maybe if you can get up to 100 or so, you'll be pretty good. So here is the room we're going to be in, and just to show you as reference, this way is the out to get to the exit. Always reference the ladder. Too bad we can't put the ladder down. That'd be great. So if you get in trouble, we get in a bind, run right out. If you have DA, you can use that just in case. But we'll pull these guys here and into this room, and just start with this basic kite. And what I'll do is I'll kind of run around here, kind of like going backwards like this, because some of these, I forget who, actually there might not be any right here right now, but the backbiters and stuff like that, they will backstab, and it just helps you reduce and keep your hit points, right? You don't want to get too low. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to strafe around, strafe by hitting my forward key and my E key, how I have it set up, and I'm mouse steering around. And you can either do an auto run, auto strafe by clicking off onto your desktop, clicking back on, and release those keys, or I use my mouse to twist with my thumb. I have a gaming mouse, so I have 12 buttons on the side, but I have those are my hotkeys, 1, 2, 3, 4 as normal, and you can control it from there. Or you can just try to use your keyboard while holding those other keys. Either way, that's how I am doing this as far as control wise. So let's just get right into it. I'm just gonna play the song here, snare him up. I have it as my first hotkey, so that's what we want. Let's get them kind of grouped. You can already see him casting, so again, that is why we want this, why we want that. You get a lot of stuns and stuff, so be kind of patient. But once you get it to land and get them all nice and grouped, okay, there we go. And now I can start twisting my songs. So you can kind of run around them. You're going to get little jabs here and there, and that's fine. It's expected because they are a little bit smaller rooms, but the snare allows you to minimize that by a lot. You don't want them to be on us all the time. and they move very, very slowly. You can see how fast they are kind of running, if you can tell. And sorry I have all my particle effects on, but it looks pretty sweet. So toggling them. Yeah, if one breaks, just keep it going. Get that snare back on. I guess I might have missed it, but there we go. Prioritize your heavy hitting, your heaviest dot, your highest dot level wise, or whatever modifier you're using. So if you're using a loot, then prioritize a loot dot. Because here you're not really instrument swapping. That's that's a lot of work for in these little rooms, and it might mess you up. You don't want to be worrying about your modifier when you're just getting whacked. So as you see, I'm about a bubble down. That's all right. If I didn't have these resists on, I guarantee you I'd be hurting a lot more. Those will crush through you rather quickly. So there we go. You want definitely want these green goblin skin. So this and mineral salts. Let's see if I can get some real quick. A lot of corpses, and I tend to just destroy stuff so I can loot, because you get the same corpses again and again. Actually, here, let's put that as close to them as possible. Some more green goblin skin, but you want the mountain death mineral salts, and it looks like a blue powder. Those and the green goblin skin, you want that. Keep those. That should be your priority. Besides some sweet loot. That's if you are after the Chardok faction, and those can be turned in for 3 faction each. So once you get a stack of 20, that's about 60 points of faction, and it will add up quite quickly. Oh look, we have a server shut down here in 9 minutes. But anyways, so that's the top. That's a good little practice spot. And now I'll bring it back on the map. Here we are again at the top. I'm just going to kite down right here and do an initial kite just to show you what it looks like. And you can apply the same thing all throughout the zone. It's going to be the same exact method, except you'll just gather a few here, maybe a few in here, and just kite in there. Or, if you're in these rooms, kite down the main room first, and then you could pull all of these little rooms into the main room, kite them down. Pull them, kite them, just depending on how many you can handle, and it should be an easy day. So we'll start here. I like to pull with the snare song. So I'll just hit him with snare. It gives you time to, whoop, except for stun. It does give you time to run away and gather these mobs. There we go. Okay, we got 8 minutes to get this done, which is fine. That should be enough time. Here we go. Let's get them. See, those guys harmtouch, and I did. I did resist it, so that's good. Obviously, that's always good. Okay, running down, right into this little room here. Even if there's like little obstacles, like these carts and stuff, don't worry about it. Just focus on getting these guys snared, get them into the middle. Okay, we have a lot more mobs now. Let's get that. There we go. We got them snared. So, and just kind of grouping them up. It needs to be a little bit cleaner, but that's all right. And just immediately start getting your songs on. And you can see why this would be way easier with a healer. They can just stand off to the side, let you get the aggro, and so you can kite them down. Stunned again. There we go. Let's get that snare. There we go. We want that snare. And so you can see my health is it's going on a little bit faster. Another bubble down. I didn't heal it from the last one. So definitely maximize that health. Get those heal songs on after. I'm going to show you just how I would normally do it, especially with a loot. Right? If you don't know how to heal yourself with a loot by now, it kind of might be falling behind. But nonetheless, we're going to show you that real quick after all these are dead. So racking them up, racking them up. Yep, you could kill these one by one. It may be faster, maybe not. But this is pretty darn simple, and haven't lost more than a bubble in this little kite right here. And that is a lot of casters. So you can see I'm getting casted on quite a bit. These are a lot of casters. So those resists, you know, so what you want. So right there is a good little pile, and you would just apply this all the way through. So here I have Katana of replenishment, or you could use your hymn, whichever, if you're not 55 yet, and Nivs. So those two are your healing songs, Nivs being the other, which is why I have it. I also have a cheater item that I like to twist, is my Singing Steel breastplate. So this is really cool. If you can ever acquire one, I highly recommend it, especially for downtime like this. It acts as another song. So it's a 6-second cast with about a 90-ish heal, and you can twist it in. So I can actually fight and do all that while casting it, and you can run around and move and stuff. The 6 seconds, so think of this as 2 3-second songs. So it's like a 4-song twist. So once I get Katana, Nivs, Singing Steel breastplate. That's only if you have it. Again, you don't have to break the bank to go get one. But if you're able to obtain one, highly recommend it. It makes this go by a lot quicker. And so I would just heal right on up. I got 5 minutes for server shutdown, which is pretty funny. And that is it. So apply that same method all throughout. Loot everything. Look for that goblin forged armor, the legs, breastplate. I'm not sure about arms, but a lot of them, they'll go 15 plat up to 30, 35 plat per piece. So clean out your bags, come in ready to rock, get a whole bunch of like 10 slaughters, like deluxe toolbox or something, and you'll be filling up. You can, here's mountain death salts right here. So bam, keep those. You get some other looty, all kinds of weapons and rings and stuff, which you can either keep and sell or not. And again, I destroy everything as I go to be able to loot quickly, and rack those up to get that Chardok faction back, and you'll be good to go. So thanks for joining. We'll see ya. If you have any questions, hit me up in game on Lethen. More than happy to talk anything Bard. See ya.